What goes into a bass house song that has over 500,000 streams on Spotify and SoundCloud? Why, thank you for not asking. Yo, it's Thomas Anthony from FinishBetterMusic.com, and today I'm going to be opening up the project for my latest single, Shadows, which currently has over 500,000 streams on Spotify and SoundCloud, and has been supported by artists such as Fractal and Volak, and been featured on channels such as Label Music. Now, I'm going to show you every little detail that goes into a fully finished bass house song, and there's also a link in the description below to a free sample pack with all the sounds that I've compiled and put them in a free pack for you. Alright, let's get into the song, baby.
Shadows hiding in the dark.
Let's take a look at this behemoth of a project. So I'll talk about the arrangement first. So basically how I have it structured is basically like after the intro, like the DJ intro, I have a little verse section here, and then it goes into like quite a long build, which is about 30-second build, and then climaxes for a drop around for 30 seconds. And then I have this like vocally bridge bit that will go through, and I'll show you what kind of elements go through there. And then I broke it back down for a really long and epic, it's like almost a minute and a half breakdown, and finally finishing with a high energy chorus and then a little outro there. So there's different parts to this, so I really want to explain like what's going on in the drums and how I built momentum throughout that. Then I'll talk about the bass, and then I will show the momentum of the track and how I arrange things to keep this a nice, consistent energy building song where there's no like dull points. And this is probably one of my most professional tracks I've ever made, and I'm super happy with how it's doing and like all the support it's been getting. But before we jump into this project, I just want to show you the sample pack that you can download. It's in the description below. It's got a whole bunch of bass sounds, all the bass sounds I used in there, a bunch of drum loops, a bunch of effect sounds, and all the instruments that I've kind of used in there. As you can see, the song is doing really well. If you want to follow me on Spotify, that'd be cool. If not, that's all good too. Yeah, it's doing really well. I'm super happy about it. So I hope you can learn something from this today. Okay, let's get into the drums. So basically, let's start with the drop. And I basically have a drop, like the drop kick section. So I had a low little kick in here. I think this might have been from the original track. Yeah, it was just a low kick, and I felt like I didn't like the click on it, so I just added a little click itself. And basically that was just strictly to push through the mix and get it just sounding like nice and thick throughout the mix. And then I have my drum tops, and I'm gonna go through just the arrangement of everything here first. So like I basically have a bunch of little claps here that are just glued together, just two simple claps, and the original like Shadows clap that was on there. So I have this one going a little bit to the left, another one going a little bit to the right, and this one down the center to kind of like, and this one has lots of reverb on it. So it kind of just makes this nice little clap. And then I like to always put a few reverse claps in there so they go up. That's just a reverse cymbal. I think that sounds pretty cool. And for the hats, now this was something I wanted to find the correct hats for this. Now, as you can see, I have one going 16 to the left, 14 to the right, and one down the center. So I just used this little trick. It's called, I think it's called 166, and it's an Il Gates little thingamabobber that he showed me like a while ago. So I got just a hat on that side, a different hat on that side, and kind of like a shakery hat in the middle, and then all together. Oops! Oh, there we go. Let's going to drum top. So I thought I had these grouped. So that is pretty much just filling out the. I wanted a strong little hat going on in there, and then with like everything on there. And then I just found a drum loop. Just giving a few little boops and bloops, and then another little loop over here. This was just a few little snares in there to give it some variation in this little what's it called? Bridge section. And then I have the old cashmere shakers. And then I'm not going to go through these because this is kind of boring, but basically I just have a few different fills going through the song at different points, so it just kind of ties each section together. And then I have cymbals running in and out of the track. And honestly, this is the basic arrangement of the drums. So like I always start tracks, like if we can see this, with just like kicks, claps, and hi-hats. I felt like it needed it right at the beginning here, because sometimes I'll just start with a kick and a clap, and then I add like a shaker loop, and then I'll add some sort of other top loop to the side, to the third section to keep the momentum going. Now, if we look at the breakdown drums, I really use a lot of cinematic stuff. So the Cashmere cinematic one, I just thought those were super heavy. And then over here, bring in a little hi-hat in there, along with the claps. Really, really gives some momentum. And then for the drum build, I have a buttload of things going on here. And I'm basically just showing how I can make, just like really draw this out and really, really, really build up the amplification of the drop. Or amplify things until they get to the drop there, that is. And then I just have crashes in all the normal places, like the beginning of the drop, second bar, reverse going into the third section. So drums are relatively simple. Let's talk about the bass, because that's kind of where things get super duper juicy. And if you're getting any value from this, hit the like button and go check out my Instagram. It's Tom Anthony. I have a bunch of, this is where I post all my club shows, or all the shows I've been playing over summer, me playing live that I started doing, playing my guitar live over top of gigs. It's been awesome. So if you want to follow me on this, it'd be cool too. But yeah, let's talk about the bass. So initially I grouped all the bass in one group and just figured out a nice little groove. Now if we listen to this, it does sound like pretty percussive-y. So I just kind of had this first drop, and if we look back at all the other videos I made, this is very similar to like the tech housey drop. So it's like boom, ba-dum, boom, but instead of going boom, 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 ba-dum, boom, 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 I just drew this out and had this long like sub bassy thing, which we'll look at. I ended up putting it in a top bass group because I put like a little melody behind it. So it basically goes boom, ba-dum, boom, 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 boom. So if we listen to this. And then again, I'm just kind of shifting things around. And if we listen to that with the drums. So it's kind of like A, then this would be the B section, then this is the A section, and then I kind of make a separate like D section there. So I was just going to call and response. And basically what I did was I just found a bunch of bass shots and then just put them in different positions, so until they got a good groove. Like this took me a while. Now, all this all I'm doing is just getting different bass sounds and just putting them in different places to kind of trial and error where I want to have things. And I find it very effective if you want to get some cool low bass sounds. But this by itself isn't going to carry the tune. Like, you have to have all the elements kind of in there. So I initially started with this bass. And if you do want to learn like how I do all my bass processing and how I get this, like, this is probably one of the best tracks I've mixed, at getting it super duper dialed in. Head on over to FinishBetterMusic.com, fill out an application. Honestly, we show you everything from start to finish on how to make a song, help you one-on-one. I'm only opening the doors for till pretty much 2022. I'm just taking on 6 students. So if you want to be part of this elite group of 6 students, go fill out a form, because I want time to work on my own music, and I can only handle a small group of students. So if you're interested in that, go fill out an application. All the information is over at FinishBetterMusic.com, and this gives me all the information to kind of set up for a Zoom call, see where your tracks are at, be able to have some feedback prepared for you, and we'll discuss the best plan of action to go forward. But yeah, getting back to this, so basically I made this like the drop part, and then I always just go over to the second drop and try to add something a little bit more. So basically I just added 2 more shots in there. It goes boom, ba-da-ba-da-ba-doom, boom. Whereas this one is just boom, ba-doom, boom. and then we add a little bit more there. So it takes a little bit of time to kind of figure this out, and this is definitely something I could show you in the program, how to do it step by step, but I wanted to show you my working process behind there. Now, after I did this, so that was like the main groove, and I got that working well with the drums. Then I wanted this big, like, crazy synth. As you can see, I have these top synths V2. So basically, I did a whole bunch of like trial and erroring it with having its own sub, and then having this weird, crazy sound that sounds like this, which I made in Synth, and it has a whole bunch of modulation on it. And on the second drop has some pitch bending on it. But basically, I was trying to like layer this with a sub drop, but it just wasn't sounding that good. It was the initial sound sounded best. And honestly, if you're going for sound design in the future, always just try to make the sound as good as possible from the synth originally. The more layering you do, the less amazing it's going to sound. If you can get a good sound like right off the bat, then that'll be the best result. So basically what I did here was like I liked this top bass, which is another sound here, which is like a and why they're not in the drum group is because I have them sidechained a little bit differently, because I didn't want the full pumping effect to happen with these ones, because they were kind of like a long drawn out sound. And then this last little bit, I just basically have it filtering down, or like having a little pitch control on the end of here. So it's going... just to kind of transition into that next section. And then I have, as we'll look at the whole drop when I have all the instruments on, it goes into this bridge section. So this bit, the next thing that makes this super sweet is the stab. So I basically just have a bunch of horns and then like reverse horns. And they give a lot of oomph in this song. So if we listen to the top bass and these other ones from the drop. And I find that the reverses really tie everything into other sections, so that works really nicely. So that's basically the drums and the bass and basically drums and the bass. Now, where this song really comes together is with the vocals, and like the vocals, I'm not going to go into how I pitch edited them and all that kind of stuff. This is kind of like the final bits of the vocals, but basically it's just finding the proper arrangement of things. So usually the singer will sing like a verse, and then usually a build, and then potentially some like ad-libs or some vocal chops on the chorus. And I basically just took this arrangement of the song. You can listen to the song, I'm not going to play the whole thing, but that's where I felt everything should be arranged. And how I arranged it like momentum wise was she says her verse in the first bit, then it goes build up, then there's nothing over the drop except for some like vocal chops. And I let the bass take over and do all this fucking thing. And then basically everything, one at every 8 bars, they have like a little vocal at the end of the phrase. And then it goes back into to try to tie this bridge into the next section. Now let's just talk about the bass of this section. So I like to go from like a high energy bass to more so like a kind of progressive-y bass. So I have this in breakdown bass section, and basically it's just 2 layers, and it's this like low wobbly layer with, or say this is the wobbly bass. Thought it had a real Kyle Watson-y sound to it, so like just has a nice little like vibe to it. So hide it from you. I'm not gonna fight it if it's true. No, I'm not gonna find it without you. Right here by my side, no, I won't leave you behind. And then it basically transitions back down to the breakdown, where I have just like a crash going in there and then slowly building back the instrument. So I have this like wobbly one to continue it out. Now let's talk about the breakdown. So this is where I really went to town with sounds here. As you can see, I have a bunch of just frozen. These are all different sounds. So like there's this one. I really just went and found my initial chord progression that I had. I think I took out the MIDI of it, but I had the initial chord progression, and then I went through sounds, like so many sounds to get nice textures. So like this one, it's just a high string. Then this one, that's the same one. I don't believe this one's on. But I had that one, then I had like an ARP. And they're all playing the same note. And then this one was a reverse piano. Oh, this was just regular piano. So I just made this little piano melody. And then I found something like this. It's like, it was something in Contact. It was like I think it's called Rev. And I just thought like backwards pianos would be kind of a cool textures. This going in there like that's another cool texture. And then just chopping everything up. And then again, this is like some reverse one. And then again, like this is just some other weird sound. I just thought that sounded really nice going all the way through. And then just a bunch of like ambiences like this shit. Just to transition to different sections. And as you can see, some are panned left and right, and then like some big ones over here. Now, all of these, now that's a lot of layers, and this is where like the richness comes through. So we have, if we just solo the instrument section like here. If we really isolate the sounds, there's like strings, there's piano, and there are a bunch of reverses that are going on there. And that just really, really creates just a nice thick sound. And one of the biggest things was like layering that over like the breakdown bass, which is this sound. Matters. I know why everything's
no lie is worth pressure. Rather be honest than to see.
So as you see these two pieces in red, they're actually a different note from the chord progression. It's just so that I'm not giving the whole progression away until here, where it's like. So that's like the low bass. And then I needed something to keep the momentum going. So I made this bass, which is like this nice kind of plucky guitar bass. And then this one is just like it in quarter notes or whatever. But those two, when you play all that together, it goes from
shadows hiding in the dark, but not dreaming you. Always on my mind, cause what we've been through. Running all our lives, trusting you will follow mine. Right here by my side, no, I won't leave you behind. I'm not gonna hide it from you. I'm not gonna fight it.
Because you always got to be thinking of like, how are you going to progress the momentum in the song? And like, I started it out with just low chords with the bass note, then started bringing in a more plucky sound, and then started doubling up the plucks in a quarter note format. So that really builds things up. And then I break everything back down again, like over here.
I know I won't leave you behind. Always hiding in the dark.
And then the vocal ambiance, it's literally just a backwards vocal. It's not even on, actually. That one I didn't even put on. And then I do have a lot of effects going on. So just like with the risers and falls, I have like big things going on. So one's going left, one's going right, this one's going right, even more right. This one's going down the center. There's a thunderstorm in here with some like just light rain and thunderstorm. There's these vocal sirens from that siren pack from Black Octopus Sound, which I like for transition-y bits. And then all of it together really just brings this big.
Always hiding in the dark. hiding in the dark.
And then the difference between this drop and this drop basically was I have a pitch bend going hardcore on this one. So like not only did I have the filter cut off, it was like so it has a nice little pitch bendy thing on there as well. So not just the filter cut off and then just like pitch bendy thing, which is honestly a sound that I'm moving away from. All the new stuff I've been making doesn't really sound like this because I made this song like a year and a half ago. But this is the project. And this is kind of how I put it together, and I hope you got something useful from that. Again, if you want to learn like step by step how I make music, and I can guide you step by step to finishing your own song that sounds badass, that's ready for Spotify, that's ready for labels, that's ready to be played out live, hit me up at FinishBetterMusic.com, fill out the mentoring program application, and I will get back to you. Again, I'm only taking 6 students over for the next until 2022, and yeah, I hope you're one of them. Again, you can check out all the reviews on our page here. You can see what all our previous students have to say. I leave all their full names up there, so you can hit them up on Instagram or on Facebook, chat with them, see what they have to say. That's why I put them up here, because I fully stand by my program. And if you like aren't ready to take this leap and join the program, there's a bunch of free stuff that will get you started. Some project breakdowns, sample packs, and some free guides. But definitely go over to or down in the description below and download the sample pack. I mean, it's free. Go get it for sure. And yeah, follow me on Instagram if you want to see up to date on all my music stuff. I have a bunch of awesome new music that I have coming out. I know every producer says that kind of jazz, but I really do have some magical covers that I'm super stoked about. One's The Scientist by Coldplay. One is Mad World by I can't remember who is it, by Jules Gary, I think, or Gray or something. And the other one's I'm not going to say the other one, actually. You have to wait and find out for that one. So hope you got something from this. Please hit the like button if you liked it. Subscribe for more videos like this, and hope to chat with you soon if you want some help with music. All right, until later. Peace.
Having somebody actually sit down with you and walk through each step of the music creation process was life changing.
And this was actually one of the best things that I spent my money on in my whole life. Like seriously, like it changed everything for me.
Like the quality of the songs that I've done in 8 weeks. I have 4 or 5 tracks that are like, the idea is good, different genres. Yeah, man. Thank you, really.
I mean, I can safely say that since then, I've been making one of my favorite tracks, including the track that we worked on together. And I would definitely suggest Thomas to anyone who wants to advance their production skills.
I would recommend this program to anyone that is looking to further their knowledge in producing. You'll not only have a great mentor, but you'll have the skills and the tools necessary to create the best music that your mind can put down.
And that was one of the big things for me. It's like it was a kick in the ass without somebody actually kicking me in the ass.
Definitely the experience I got from you guys is just amazing. It's just, yeah.
That's basically it. I just wanted to say that investing in this mentorship program was probably one of the best things I ever did for music.
I felt so lost before, like starting a song, like it could just go any direction. I don't have like a pretty good sense of like what I want to do and like how to do it.